Hey guys, today's eyeshadow topic is the trio or the 3-shadow look, and today I decided to go with something that was very warm, and I wanted to show you my whole goal with this video was how to get the greatest impact out of a shadow trio, just using 3 shades and really making the most of it. I truly think this is a shadow formula or shadow template that you can plug into a lot of the trios that you might already have and just really make the most of your look and make your eyes pop. And I want to thank you guys so much for the really kind feedback on this series. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Sometimes I do feel like YouTube is very heavy on the super intricate eye looks, and we forget how important and how essential these building block type eye looks can be. So I'm glad you're liking it, and here's how to do this look. First things first, the can't miss step, regardless of what eye look you're doing, Milani eyeshadow primer. Squeeze a little bit out and just brush it all over the lids, into the crease, and beyond. And for today's look, we're going to be using this simple trio. So a lot of times eyeshadow is sold in a trio, and it really can create the full look in a lot of cases. Because usually, not always, but usually you're getting a light, medium, and dark shade. And I don't want you to limit yourselves and think the only way you can use a trio is by this sort of formula that I'm going to be showing you in this video. But what I want to do today is show you how to use this trio for the maximum impact. The way to take the few colors you're given and really work with them together so everything is popping a little bit more on the eye. And I don't know if I've said yet, this is from IT Cosmetics. It's the Luxe High Performance Hydrating Shadow Trio in Pretty in Amber. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about these trios, but they are fantastic. They have kind of a satiny finish to the shadows, not super shimmery, but there is a little sheen there. But I just wanted to go with something really warm and just smoldering today on the eyes because I went with very cool looks for my first 2 days this week. But in a nutshell, what's going to make this look work and create a lot of impact is using our lightest shade and our darkest shade kind of like side by side, using them very closely. A lot of this on the inner part of the lid, fading into this, using the darker shade in our crease, and then using this medium shade more as a blended out, smudge it out type color. So here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to take my small shadow brush from Sonia Kashuk, dip it into this light color here, and I'm just going to start out by patting this on about the inner half of my lid, and I'm going to take it right around the tear duct as well for a little brightness. Step 1 is done. Then I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to go into this kind of deep reddish coppery rust type color. And this I'm going to use right beside the lighter shade, but I'm putting it on the outer part of the lid. And something good to keep in mind with your brushes and your shadow placement, the first place that you put down your brush is where the most color goes. It's very common sense, but I think we forget that sometimes. And then we wonder, you know, why is this looking blotchy? Why is this not looking seamless? I would want the darkest part of this look to be like right here at the outer corner. So that's the first place I'm going to put my brush with the shadow, and then start to move it inward and overlap. And that's how the blending, I think, really starts to take shape there. I'm going to get a little more shadow on my brush, and I'm going to flip the brush around and apply it up here to the crease. And what's happening here is I'm getting a very controlled application. Sometimes if you're just starting out with eyeshadow, you feel like it's just flying everywhere, it's going places you didn't want it to be. When you're using a small brush, you can control it. You can put it exactly where it should go. So at first, I was patting it on my lid like this. Then I took the brush and turned it around, wedged it, and just kind of pull upward a little bit. And I'm putting it in the crease and just pulling upward. I'm going to repeat this on the other eye. Again, place the shadow first where you want the most darkness. So for me, that's going to be the outer part of the lid, and then start just blotting it inward. You'll notice I do a lot of patting when I'm putting shadows on the lid because that really creates the most impact with the shadows. If you're rubbing back and forth, chances are you're probably just dusting a lot of product away. Then I've added a little shadow to the brush, flipping it so it's kind of wedged right there in the crease, and just gently pull upward And there's your shadow application to the crease. And you'll notice I kind of lessen it as I get inward. You can do as much or as little crease stuff on the inner part of the eye here as you want. Now that you've done that step, I think it's a good time to look at your lighter shade and say, okay, could I make that look a little more blended by taking some of the white and working it back over in this direction. So the shadows, we want them to combine. So this is how blending works. You don't have to feel like, oh, just because that was step 2, I can't go back to step 1. Yes, you can. If it looks like something else needs to be done, go for it. And then I'm just going to take my bare blending brush, nothing on this, just going over the edges to get them as soft as possible. And I gotta say, this is a little bit more pricey trio as opposed to a lot of drugstore trios, and I'm sure you could come up with similar shades in another brand, but these do blend really, really nicely. Next thing I want to do is work in this kind of golden color right here, and I'm using a brush from e.l.f. that's called the crease brush, and it's kind of a small crease brush. I mean, if I hold it up here next to my Sigma E40, you can see it's a little less fat compared to that, and the bristles aren't super dense, so I really love this as a brush to apply what a lot of people talk about as being a transition color. Something where you're kind of transitioning from your darkest shade up into your highlight under the brow, let's say. So I'm applying a little bit of that goldeny shade right up there. And this brush can do a really good job of keeping it sheer. It's kind of a lower cost alternative to the Sigma E36 brush, which is that little white wispy brush that I use a lot. And I'm just going over here on the other side. And I'm using a really light hand. I am barely applying pressure to my eye whatsoever. We're just going over the border. Very easy. Then I'll clean that brush off here real quick, and I'm going to go into this pearly shade, which will become our highlight under the brow. Something nice and light. Keep things from getting too muddy, getting too close there to the brow. I like to really focus a highlight mainly under the highest point in the brow, but just generally speaking, it can be a nice finishing touch, and you can use that shadow to almost blend the border of the lash shade that you put on. And then to finish off this upper lash line, I'm going to apply a liner. This is a Stomper from ColourPop, and it's a really dark brown. I really do enjoy these ColourPop pencils. I feel like they go on very easily. They feel like just gel pencils, and they come in a ton of different colors. This is probably like the least fun color that it comes in, but I just want something basic for this look. All right, so we've achieved this soft, warm upper eye area, but I want to show you how to take your lower lash line and really just make it smoldering with this liner. So where I'm going to put this is the inner rim, the lower inner rim here. I'm using dark brown because it can be a little less harsh compared to black, but I've been known to use black quite often here also. And once you put it on that inner rim, take a little bit and put it just on the skin, on the outer part of your lower lash line there. This is what's going to allow this darkness to not look just like one dark line there, but to actually blend. And you can just blend over it with your finger a bit. See the difference now between this eye and this eye? Yeah, this one's coming for you. So repeat right over here. And then just a little bit right there. I feel like I'm going right in between eyelashes here. That's how close you want to be to your inner rim. Then as far as your shadows go, that's what's going to keep this looking super duper soft. And if you want it to look more natural, not quite so intense, you could skip the pencil liner altogether there on the lower lash line and just do this shadow step I'm going to show you. So I'm going to use the darkest shade with a pencil brush and get right in there on the outer part. And then let's take this golden shade. Like I said, use this middle color for smudging and smoking out. So we're going to take this all along the lower lash line. Next, I'm just going to take my eyelash curler here and curl my lashes. I'll do a little bit of mascara with my favorite CoverGirl Supersizer. Always get some mascara on my eye look, it seems like. So I really love the way this eye look turned out. I love the amount of brightness we're getting from that light shade, but because we put it beside something that's so much darker than that, even though it's not a super deep and dark shade, the contrast is really happening here from the crease to the lid, really nice and warm just above the crease, all the brightness we could want under the brow, and nice and smudgy and smoky on the lower lash line. But truly, this is the kind of shadow formula you could plug in with almost anything. This is the CoverGirl Shimmering Sands Trio. I've had Shimmering Sands for ages, and these shades don't really look like one really pops from the next, you know, but this same kind of shadow placement, whether you've got 3 distinctly different shades or 3 shades that are all very, very monochromatic like this, it can still work. And as far as ways to really do this eye look up different, I do kind of feel like we went for the max with what this trio can do, but I will show you, you know, what it looks like if you wanted to pop on a pair of false lashes. These are the Salon Perfect Demi Wispies, a very common, accessible pair of false lashes that will give you a little added lift to your eyes because they are flared out at the ends. Now with this sort of warm eye look, I think it's a great way to get use out of some of your more neutral blushes and neutral or nude lip colors. So on my lips today, I'm wearing the e.l.f. matte lip color in Praline, and my blush is this CoverGirl blush in Soft Mink. And if I don't always mention it in these videos, I will have all the products I'm wearing down below in the description box. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and if you end up trying any of these looks or posting pictures on social media, please use the hashtag EasyEyeWeek so I can find them and see them. I hope you'll join me tomorrow where we tackle an eyeshadow quad, and I will see you soon. Bye!